The more unpopular ragams are the ones like Kanakangi, which use closely spaced keys. The raga Mayamala, on the other hand, has well spaced out keys. Sa, Re 1 space, Ga 2, Ma 1 space, Pa, Dha 1 space, Ni 2, Sa. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, Sa, Sa, Ni, Dha, Pa, Ma, Ga, Re, Sa. If this sounds familiar, this is just the Saraliswaram, or the ragam all beginners are taught, essentially because such a dispersed set of notes is more easy for a beginner to learn. From these complete ragams, you can derive child ragams omitting a key here and there in the Arohanam or Avarohanam. Some Melakartas are parents of a large number of popular child or janya or derived ragams. Melakartas like Natabhairavi, Karaharapriya, Harikambodhi, Shankaravarnam, for example. We will see this in the next section. You may wonder how just one key makes such a huge difference. I told you that the ragams Kalyani and Shankaravarnam have identical Arohana and Avarohana except for the key used to produce the Ma syllables. You have to listen to your keyboard. Play Kalyani and Shankaravarnam on the keyboard even though you don't produce the microtones, and even though you're playing an equally tempered instruments, you can tell the two apart. Sari, 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 Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa, Ni, Da, Ba, Ma, Ga, Re, Sari, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa, Ni, Da, Ba, Ma, Ga, Re, Sa. Now, if you look at a song, these are very, very different. Shivakameshwarim Chintayeham Shivakameshwarim. So the Ma is either used directly or alluded to in the whole ragam, so there is no doubt that this is Kalyani. Whereas if you do Shankaravarnam, Swararaga Sudharasayuta Bhakti Swararaga. So the structure of the raga is such that even though you directly don't do the Madhyamam early on, Sariga, what is there in that? Sariga Ma is very out of place, so it alludes to a smaller Madhyamam coming later. Therefore it shows the ragam Shankarabaranam apart from Kalyani just by the way the notes have been chosen. And that is the art in creating compositions, so that the bhava or the form of the ragam comes out very clearly, even though the distinguishing notes may not be played directly. Okay, so the Madhyamam key makes a big difference both directly and indirectly in the way the usages have come. So one has to simply listen to music to train one's ears, and it will become obvious. And people in concerts, you can see them getting excited because they have figured out the ragams before others have, while the artist is doing it. Since Melakartas have the maximum allowed 7 notes in a ragam, they have an enormous scope for melody making, compared to a derived ragam which may have less than 7 notes. This is just a general rule, but there are several derived Melakartas, derived Janmaya ragams, which are considered to be of larger scope than the original Melakarta ragam itself. Like for example, Natai is sung much more often than Chalanatai, which is the original Melakarta ragam. Thus these ragams are very popular in concerts, and especially some of the main big Melakarta ragams such as Kalyani, Shankaravarnam, Thodi, Karaharapriya are chosen for the heavy part of the concert, and where they try to exhibit their mastery. So what is a ragam? Now that you have studied the Melakarta scheme inside, let's go to generate the secondary or janya or derived ragams, the rest of the ragams, that is, based upon some simple guidelines. These are only guidelines and not hard and fast rules. Again, aesthetics drives what is truly hard and fast. 1. A ragam should have at least 5 keys in an octave, and at most 7 keys in the Arohanam as well as the Avarohanam. 2. The Arohanam or ascending order of notes, or Avarohanam, or descending order for that matter, is obtained by simply taking a Melakarta scheme and omitting none or one or two notes. Remember that the Melakarta scheme has 7 notes, so we can end up with 7 or 6 or 5 notes in the derived scale. For example, let us again take the Ragam Shankarabharanam. If we omit the notes Ma and Ni, we can only use the 5 white keys Sari, Gama, Sari, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa. Then we get a famous Ragam called Mohanam. Okay, so let's take a look at this Ragam Mohanam and see how it goes. This is the Arohana Avarohana of the Ragam Mohanam, first done flat and with illustration on piano by Harihar. Sa, Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa. So here we have taken the Ragam Shankarabharanam and have omitted the Madhyamam Ma and the Nishadam Ni. Sa, Ri, Ga, no Ma, Pa, Da, no Nishadam, Sa. Now this is a 5-note scale and it is called an Audava Raga, and it has the same symmetry on the reverse direction. Sa, Dha, Pa, Ga, Ri, Sa. Now illustrate how we add gamakas or microtones to it and how we can approximate it with the piano. Sa, Ri, Sa, Sa, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri, Sa, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri. You observe that this is the same gamaka as used in Shankarabharanam, because it has the same pivot note Sa, Ga, and oscillates between the Ga, Ri area. Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri. And notice that gamaka has more weight at the Gandharam. Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri. Stays longer at Ga. So it's like a notch. Oscillation with notches coming down. Pa, Da, Pa, Sa, Da, Sa, Da. So you see that these are discrete ways of approximating the endpoints of it. Sa, Sa, Ri, Ri, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa, Sa, Da, Sa, Sa, Da, Sa, Da, Sa, Da, Sa, Da, Da, Da. Pa is flat. Ga, Pa, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri, Ri, Sa, Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa, Sa, Dha, Pa, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri, Ga, Ri, Sa. That was the Ragam Mohanam. And the Hindustani equivalent of this Ragam is called Bhoop or Bhupali. Usually the next octave, Sa, is also included for the completion, hence the Arohanam will be correctly called Sarigapada Sa. Similarly, Avarohanam is called Sada Pagari Sa. You will notice that almost all Ragams start with the key Sa. From now on we will omit saying Re1 or Re2 if there is no ambiguity for which key we are using, especially if we say which Ragam it was derived from. If we use the pattern Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Ni, Sa, Sa, Ni, Pa, Ga, Ri, Sa, we will get the Ragam Hamsadvani. So let's look at an illustration of the Ragam Hamsadvani.